You know how almost every dude has that box somewhere in their house. There's just a bunch of like tangled up wires and shit that we all keep and bring with us, like house to house to house to house. Like thinking
I might need this cable one day.
That's how I look at back in the day, like when I was making less than 10K a month. That's how my brain felt. You know, it felt like the first thing you got to do is just undo all that crazy shit that's going on in your head and get the right kind of belief system in place. You know, you have to really understand the power of how much money matters. Yeah. And really believe that like you deserve that amount of money, that you can make that amount of money. It's an excessive quantity of limiting beliefs, almost like a massive fucking wall that exists in front of you. When you fail to break down that wall, it's like you have a really hard time climbing it. You know, it's easier to just go around it, or in some instances, if you can work through those existing limiting beliefs, just to fucking take them down one by one.
Because like I'll tell you this, I'll never forget when it clicked for me. I remember I got wired $30K after selling a course.
Yeah,
and that was like my first big thing. And I was like, oh shit, this is real.
Mine was a 12K check. I went and I cashed it, okay? And I walked around my job. I had the loaf in my pocket. And I would walk up to my coworkers who were like all my buddies and stuff in like the little marketing room I was in, and I'd be like, touch it, you know, and I'd have my dude, and I'd wake up every fucking day. I swear to God, I wake up every day and I'd seriously just sit there and count it, you know, and like, man, it's hard to describe it, like that initial feeling of just like feeling like the fucking man, you know, with like only 12 G's. And then I went out and I splashed on it was like fucking, 12, I don't even know how long, maybe like 14 years ago. I bought an Infinity G35 maybe, like the little sedan. I was driving around in a shitty Camry. I had a 1995 Toyota Camry, and I went and splashed on a little whip. You know, same thing. Anything that you could do to like make you feel like the fucking man when you're at that level, and you start the momentum cycle. You know, do y'all believe momentum is like gravity, like a universal law?
It is. I'll give you an example. So I went to Grant Cardone's show called Whatever It Takes, right?
Yeah.
And I was so excited. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm about to be working for Grant Cardone. He's the greatest. I love Sell or Be Sold, all that stuff, right?
Oh, the interview show.
Yeah. So I pull up, and I'm like,
crazy.
I got this, bro. I'm from Barbados. I'm that guy. I walk into the interview room. I do my part, first introduction. Get to talk to him for a little bit. Yeah. Second part is to sit down, sell me the pen or the water. I didn't get the part. They said, you don't have whatever it takes. You're a nice guy, Walter, but you got to go.
Did you have to jump off the bridge?
Oh, I didn't even get that far, bro. I was only the second part. So what happened was, that was like, damn, you know what? The person I looked up to said no to me, and I got to start all over. But I'll tell you this, though. That moment defined me because it means to think, you know what? Okay, he told me I can't do it, but I bet I can do it on my own. I found my own way. And from there, worked my ass off at my job, overtime nonstop. And then, you know what happened to me, bro?
What?
I was working at AT&T taking phone calls. I was like, people 40 years old. They've been there for 20 years, still working that job. I was like, I don't want that to be me.
Nah. Yeah.
No, bro, like, I need to get out of here. So at that point, mindset shift. So you're right. Momentum, and then me getting my first property, me saving the 10K, 20K from my job to buy the property.
Dude, I feel like it literally just all came down to momentum, you know? Like, okay, when I was younger, my grandfather told me, he said, there's all these universal laws in life, you know, that govern like our existence here on this planet. And he used the example of gravity as one of them. He was like, it's your job as you continue to age to like find the other ones, you know, like see what you can find. And I genuinely feel like momentum is one of the most powerful ones. To be clear, as an example, when I was broke, the one track, I listened to this track dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times. It was called Excuses Are for Bitches. And it was by this guy right here.
Gymnasium Jesus.
I found that on, apparently it's on YouTube to be clear, but I found that shit on SoundCloud. I'm not exaggerating, okay? Dude, from my new penthouse, by the way, not sit here and flex or anything crazy, but like I can see where I moved to in this penthouse I'm in when I first came here, and it was in the hood in Overtown over here. And bro, I was in that place, 650 square foot little shit box, okay, in the hood, like one of those fucked up like in-wall AC units like leaking everywhere. This place was fucked. And dude, I'd play this track again and again and again and again, and I would sit there and I would just, you know, I'd feel like the initial process. Dude, momentum, if you think about it as like a force, like an energy, one of the hardest things to like build up, maintain, but like once you got it, think about how much it's really impacted you, how easy what you do now is in comparison to how hard it is at the very beginning.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Okay, it's hard at the beginning because, like, once again, we got to create the momentum, but then we get the benefit of it as it continues to go on.
At the beginning,
dude, people got to focus on that shit at the start.
We had no guests for the podcast. It was like us just talking about dating, lifestyle. We start bringing on guests. What happened? You know what? Hey, I'll hit you up. I want to come on the podcast. 1, 2, 3. Next, you know, a bunch of people coming on the podcast. Momentum. They see what's happening. It's popping off. We're getting views. Oh, I'll pull up too. That's how it starts.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it does.
That's a fact. And like, you know, there's a lot of limiting beliefs though. Like you touched on it. For example, y'all, last time I was on Monday, whoever does y'all Instagram, y'all took a clip of me saying, my son was like, oh, that 10K for a watch is too much.
Oh, Brett.
And I was like, yo, listen,
Oh, yeah, you
man.
got hammered on that one.
I was like, yo, listen, man, never say nothing's too much money, man. You can have whatever you want if you work hard enough. And people were like, they couldn't get past the 10K for a watch.
Yeah, they couldn't.
But it's like that aside, right?
The most important thing you said is if you work hard enough.
If you work hard enough, you can have whatever you want. But some people, their mindset is like, I can't do that. I can't do. But you need to think, now, how can I do that? Right? You got to be thinking about ways to make shit happen. But it goes like deeper than that, not just with money or just everything. I won't say I'm tired. I'll be like, yo, I got to get more energy. I won't say my bitch is tripping. Like, I got to fucking figure out. I need to calm this hoe down.
Yeah, they're justifying the wrong position.
Yeah. It's like, yo, if you don't want to pay 10K a watch, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but whatever you do want, you need to be constantly looking for ways to make that happen and never say you can't do it.
You mentioned last show confidence, how most men don't have that confidence at all. Jeremy, how would you define guys getting confidence from the very beginning?
Dude, I think certainty and confidence comes from taking action, proving you could do what you say you're going to do, and having consistency. A lot of that, dude, I've had so many people I've taught over the years that when they're first getting started, that's one of the biggest things they struggle with. They think that confidence comes first, and then you follow up with the action, and that's the opposite. You start with the action, you retain consistency, and to be clear, you consistently prove to yourself that you're going to do what it is that you say you're going to do, and you start over a broad duration of time. It's an undefined, unknown period of time. It could be a week, it could be like 3 months of doing the same shit repetitively until you eventually start to see the result. And obviously you barely ever see results at the very beginning of taking action, which is also where most people give up, especially nowadays. Think about the instantaneousness of our society nowadays. I don't like a piece of content, peace. I want to get food. How long does it take you to get something around here? You know what I mean? It's
15
like
minutes.
Dude, it's all like at the fucking snap of our finger. Like everything's within an hour now. We want to send money to each other. It's like it's all fast nowadays. To be clear, dude, getting results and like making a fuckload more money, especially when you have no momentum and you're at like $0 or whatever your job's paying you, getting your first 10K outside of that. Yeah. I mean, once again, longer duration of time than what you want to endure. But if you endure through it, right, that's when the confidence kicks right after. And once again, momentum-wise, like it just gets easier. You get more confident. You don't necessarily get more cocky, to be fair. Yeah. But you get like more of a natural, I can actually do this shit kind of feeling, Yeah.
Well said.
And I think just because we were talking about momentum and kind of getting your way there, and in the beginning, it's very tough to get that momentum going. Guys, it starts with the small things like get up, make your fucking bed.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right? Like then go ahead and pound a bunch of water. Have a coffee. Okay, you've successfully completed 2 or 3 things now that are going to better you for the rest of the day. Then go to the gym, get that accomplished, and then it just, with that momentum, and just kind of falls along the line with like a domino effect almost of success.
I'll do better. Make a list.
Yeah.
Short-term goals, long-term goals.
Yep.
Do the daily activities, short-term. You master those, complete it.
Just making your bed, guys, in the beginning when you wake up is gonna be like is huge because like that sets the tone for the rest of the day. That like, all right, I'm gonna like get shit done, and it allows you to kind of say, oh, well, this feels good. Let me accomplish the next task. It might be a little bit harder, but then you just keep going. So guys, quick word from our sponsor real fast. We don't mess around when it comes to leveling up, and that goes for your coffee too. If you're still drinking that sugary shit, you're already started your morning off wrong. 1775 Coffee's protein creamer is what real men use to start their day. 10 grams of whey protein per serving, designed to build muscle and boost metabolism. Most people are tossing whey protein into their coffee, but we took it a step further and made a creamer with whey protein already built in, no added sugar, just protein. They just dropped this protein creamer along with a whole new lineup. In addition to the classic dark and medium roast, you'll find new coffee pods and a brain-boosting mushroom blend that'll have you focused like a sniper locked in on CNN. Don't start your morning funding the woke mob and dumping garbage into your body. Do it right with 1775 Coffee. Use code FRESH to get 15% off. Guys, I'm drinking 1775 Coffee right now, man. As we walk it like we talk it over here, guys, and they got one that has a protein blend, man, so definitely go show them support. Shout out to 1775 Coffee.
You know what I give a fuck about?
Well, once you get advanced.
I give about pitching people, So like for my business with I started with my marketing agency. That's what made me my money. And long story short, dude, I would never forget this, okay? I tell people this, but like I always consider the fact that most people will say it's exaggerated. It's not. This is literally how my day was, okay? I'd get up, I'd pitch businesses, and then I'd go to bed. Okay, I'd pitch businesses all fucking day long, and eventually I started getting sales calls. I didn't give a fuck about my bed. Okay, like I didn't give a fuck about that. What I did was once again I sit down on the computer, pitch the fuck
so you
out
get more
businesses.
advanced, and you're obviously hungry. But I'm saying for the normies out there that are
was
like,
when I quit my job. You know, that was just like when I first got started. It was just that was it.
Like,
no, but you got to remember, he's talking about motherfuckers.
Yeah,
who are like
normies, bro.
These like
dudes are fair. It's like we're all normies when we first start. You know what I mean? It's like we transition.
There's
We
another
evolve. We're
level.
like little Pokemon.
There's
you know what I mean?
another level of normie. There's one dude, man, on that same video, and it was interesting because I'm around so many high level people, even people who join my program, like on the mindset level, they're like serious about success. They're not on this rock bottom, like below the hierarchy of needs, right? And this motherfucker, he was talking so much shit, and it was fine, right? I was like, man, this motherfucker's super passionate about this. Let me just see who this is. And I looked, man, his post was, yo, man, just celebrating my 29th birthday. But he was in a fucking Walmart break room wearing the vest. I was like, oh, man, no wonder, like, this is upsetting him so much. Motherfuckers spending 10K. And I don't mean that to shit on him or somebody working at Walmart, because, you know, I've had jobs I hated. But it's like, if you're at a level where you're okay, like celebrating, yo, we up in Walmart, 20, we about to turn 30, then it's like, now you might have to set some more ambitious goals, and maybe like
or start from
maybe fucking
one.
making your bed is the fucking first start
They're
for
both
your
correct
ass.
because he's talking about obsessive, like wanting it to happen. Success. He's
I was
talking
trying
about,
to
for
condense
example,
the timeline, you know, like that's all I give a fuck about.
But
I
see,
didn't
the
want to
problem is
take
that
too
so many
long.
guys don't have that urgency that you had. So it's like, you know what I mean?
like,
It's
dude,
like
me, my bed was never made, bro. I will wake up and go
I
to
don't give a
work
fuck about
for
the bed.
12 hours plus, come home and sleep.
that's different because you have urgency. You got something to get you out. But a lot of these
See,
niggas
that's the
wake
thing.
up, sit there.
That's an example of the mindset,
roll
right?
around.
Like when you lack the urgency, like think
Yeah.
about that difference there. That's what I'm saying with the mental state.
Yeah.
So you have to sell yourself. You were using an example of reasons, okay? Like reasons are one of the most powerful things that you could do. Like why did I deeply give a fuck about making more money? Why did you give a fuck about making more
somebody
money?
can't do
Like,
it.
dude, it was for you. It was somebody like you just thought, okay, somebody who I looked up to told me no. For me, it's like, you know, I wanted so much more money because I understood money was everything. Like I understood every single choice I made was 100% dictated by the amount of money that I had or did not have, the quality of food that I ate, like where I could go, you know, where I'd live, like what I'd drive, like the clothes I'd buy, like every single thing was dictated by money, to be clear.
Money makes all your decisions.
100%. And at the end of the day, that created a natural urgency within me. And to be fair, like here's the thing that most, you know, when you call it like normies, to be fair, they're disconnected. Okay, they don't want to constantly be in a state of pain. Who does? Once you really get sold on how important money is, like what do you then do after? What do you have to do?
Work.
You got to grind.
You either just got to sit in a fuckload of pain and just be like aware, but not willing to do anything, which would suck, dude. That'd cause depression. Or you get to this point where you use the pain. You know, you start using that emotional driver and being like, I'll do fucking anything.
Well, that goes to Myron's point, because when you're comfortable, when you're talking about the job, when you're comfortable at first, it's difficult to have there's not enough pain for you to move. Like, you know, so Sigmund Freud had the
Making $100,000 per year is one of the worst things that can happen to you if you want to be an entrepreneur.
Sigmund
One of the worst
Freud, he
things.
talked about the pain principle. Where people, every decision people make is they're moving towards perceived pleasure or moving away from perceived pain. But you know, sometimes you can end up in this purgatory where things you don't want it bad enough it's not bad enough where you have to leave, but you don't love it.
Yeah.
You know, and
Middle
that's
class.
like a purgatory. Yeah,
Middle class. But the pain of seeing niggas 40 years old, bro, at my job.
You saw a glimpse in the
Nigga,
future.
I was so terrified. You don't understand. I'll wake up, go to work, and be like, fuck, my life is so bad right now. It was not bad, by the way, but seeing that nigga 40 years old, sitting there for 20 plus years, nigga, I'm good.
You got to convince yourself of stuff like that. That's the thing, right? You got to start leveraging
bro.
your circumstances. Like, dude, what he was talking about with that post, that was crazy because there was a lot of people that were justifying why they would not even want to consider how to mentally acquire a $10,000 watch. Why would they not try to earn the $10,000 watch? At the end of the day, it really came down to this idea of, well, why justify your circumstances? I've always liked to do it the opposite. I like to look around and see what I can do to leverage myself out of my existing circumstances, you know? It's one of my favorite things to do.
I'll never forget, bro. This is 2014, Pembroke Pines, Florida. I'm at Starbucks, sitting there, looking at YouTube how to make money online. Grant Cardone was my mentor, basically. Who else? Graham Stephan, a bunch of creators on YouTube, right? Guy pulls up in a Lamborghini drop top. White girl in front seat, blonde, big busty. That's my type. And then
No, I know.
black guy, front seat, parked it. I'm like, who is this person? This Lambo? Like, in my whole life, I never seen one person before. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of nervous, but I'm asking him real quick. What do you do for a living? I'm like, hey,
that's
bro.
the best, by the way, dude.
sorry to bother you because I could be like, I hate this guy. Like, why is he having a car?
Fuck
I don't
this
have it.
dude. Yeah.
But you know what? Let me just ask him because maybe he can tell me what I could do to make some money myself. Because I'm broke, by the way, at this point. So I'm like, hey, brother, sorry to bother you, but like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I do real estate. I buy properties, fix them up, invest, and rent them out. Cool. That's all I need to hear, bro. You know what I did after that answer? I spent months looking on YouTube how to buy real estate.
Yeah.
First investment. What do I need? And then I spent at least 2 years working overtime at my job to get money to buy real estate. And you know what happened? Once I bought a property, it was like I could do anything. I could do anything, bro.
Dude,
so you're
the
right.
mental
Momentum.
frame. The quality of questions you ask dictate the quality of the life you live. But think about this, right? The opposite is, okay, that person who's not willing to approach it, they're not willing to ask that person. They have that thought. Like, it's crazy to me to sit here and think somebody would consider me driving up in like one of my nice cars and be like, oh, that guy's like a dickhead rich guy, like that guy's got to be an asshole. It's like, dude, if somebody literally every single time somebody approaches me and is like, yo, like, what do you do this? I give them the most. I'll pull my fucking car over and give an in-depth answer if I need to try to help somebody like that.
By the way, man, flex on these.
It's a ghost. It's a ghost.
It's a ghost.
Yeah, but my point being, it's like just a mental frame to be like, okay, I'm going to go up and ask that guy a question, and then I'm going to be willing to search that stuff out on YouTube, whether I know anything about it or not. There's a really good quote. It's called a mental model, okay? You don't know what you don't know, okay? And if you treat yourself like almost like a blank software program, like a computer, like you want to be operating on like Windows 98 and fucking 2024 and beyond? Hell no. You want to consistently update your software, which really comes down once again to updating that mental state. If you have little beliefs like this and you see in yourself right now, like, oh, I wouldn't be willing to ask that guy a good quality question. I didn't even know what kind of quality question to ask. I wouldn't be willing to search it on YouTube because I wouldn't think I could go and do that shit.
Right.
I don't consider like the advancement of the future and how to get in that guy's shoes is just one step at a time, one good question getting answered at a time, one new thing that I figure out at a time, and then just taking action on that stuff. It's all brick by brick,
Guys, repeat after me. I can do it.
Yeah, fuck
3
yeah.
times. I can do it. I can literally do it. I can do it. Right, Jeremy?
You really
I
can though, man. That's something I always
Starts
just
with a
try to bring home, because I came from, I come from Southside Chicago. Its reputation precedes itself, and my father himself, and it was like, man, it was during the recession, so this is like a super difficult period. But you can outwork that shit. Like whatever situation you in, you can outwork it if you're willing to put it. But it might have been easier for me because things were so bad. You get what I'm saying? Now you have the actual mental,
You're already in the pain.
fortitude. I had so much pain. It's like you can only go up or out. You know what I'm saying? And I considered both options straight up. I weighed the pros and cons. And had my dad not just did it, and I didn't see how that affected the family, that would have been a more viable option for me. But I was like, all right, well, can't do that. So here we go.